my Ariel land costume. So the first thing I did was I grabbed a well-fitted t-shirt and I traced that measurements onto my white fabric. Normal, nothing is ever new here except for the fact that I'm creating different costumes almost every time, but it's just the same thing. Go ahead, grab a pen. I'm using a disappearing ink pen, and this just disappears with air or water, so I'm just tracing it out, cutting it out. Nothing special, but you guys can see how I create this in the next several clips. So this is how the top should look like after you're done cutting it out. So basically it's like a sleeveless shirt, and what we're going to be doing now in the next step is we're going to be creating the sleeves. Before I show you guys how I create the sleeves for my shirt, I'm going to be showing you how I'm just putting my two sleeveless shirts together, and this is just me sewing along the lines below the sleeves. Okay, so for the next part, I'm going to be showing you guys how to adjust the collar. So if you put on a shirt and you feel like it's too tight, basically you can go ahead and cut an inch more down the collar line, and this is going to help you to put on that shirt more freely without having to feel restricted. So next thing is you just make a slit down the middle of the collar line, and from that you can go ahead and dictate the direction in which you can cut. So it always has to be sort of like a circle shape when you're cutting out the collar, and the front always has to be lower than the back. So I'm just cutting out the top collar piece. you can go ahead and try it on to make any further adjustments. And it looks like I am pretty content with how it is fitting on me. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm just going to flip the shirt back, and I'm gonna be working on the back side, and I'm just go ahead and draw one line. This is going to be for that zipper if you do plan on choosing to put a zipper on the back of the shirt. So I'm using this kind of like satin material, so it's not stretchy, nor will it you know, be easy to put on and off without having to have a few extra inches of fabric to work with. So that's why I'm putting a zipper, because this material does not stretch at all. So I just go ahead and pin everything down, and I'm gonna sew. So now I'm gonna be doing some darts. So basically darts are just a way of kind of like gathering fabric so it fits you more, and so that it looks like it's more fitting on you. So I did a darts of 4 inches. I'm using a ruler just to go ahead and make a straight line, so darts are actually symmetrical. And I used about 4 darts. I used 2 in the front and 2 in the back, and this is how I basically did make the darts. So all you had to do is just sew along those V's, and then you have your darts. Okay, so now to make the sleeves. Basically the best way I can show you guys how to make a sleeve is by using your shirt, your existing shirt that you already have, which is the sleeveless one. You're going to fold it, and it's gonna give you that kind of like Pac-Man mouth, and from that you can draw up the pattern for the sleeve, and then all you have to decide is how long you want the sleeves to be. So I just pretty much made it like a arm length sleeve, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm just cutting this out, and I folded it in twice, so that way I have 2 sleeves rather than 1 while I'm cutting it out. But altogether you should have 4 sleeves. Now the next step is I'm going to be creating that black corset shirt type that Ariel has on her land costume. So I'm using some velvet fabric. This was totally recycled. It was a scarf actually, and I thought I can use the fabric to make something else, and I did. So basically I used out a pattern that I came up with, and I'm going to be adjusting the fabric that I cut out into the corset. So I'm cutting out 2 pieces. One is going to be for the front, and the second part of the fabric that I cut out is going to be for the back side of the dress. So once that's done, you can see that I cut out that first piece for the front corset, and I'm making some adjustments. I'm creating sort of like a heart line, like a sweetheart type of corset design, which is why I have that V cut out in the middle there. But I'm going to be adjusting it and creating a heart shape so that it fits and looks better. So all I'm doing is just, cutting it out in a curved shape to get that heart design. You can also fold your fabric in half to get the same identical cuts on both sides. After you finish, your corset should look like a heart. And after that, you can go ahead and sew it onto your white top. Now, the last thing I'm doing is I'm just sewing the top onto the back with a zipper in the back that I first showed you guys how to do. I'm just doing this just to secure the zipper and the corset together so that it, doesn't slip. I'm going to show you guys how I created that circle skirt. So basically I used about 3 yards of fabric to get that nice flowy effect. So I measured about maybe 30 inches, and I'm using one of those tricks that most sewers use to create that circle effect, which is basically using like a circle radius. And if you don't know how to do this, you can go ahead and watch similar videos. I'm sure there's a ton of other videos that show you how to make a circle skirt using the circle circumference. So I'm just basically just marking about to where I like it, and I'm going to be cutting this out shortly. So once that's done, I'm going to be cutting out the circle skirt, and this is just gonna get me my long flowy skirt that Ariel has. Shortly after, I'm going to be pinning my skirt to my top, and this is how it should look like, guys. Nice and professional looking. And after that, I think that's a wrap. So this is just me showing you guys how I am sewing my skirt onto my top. Okay, so next I'm going to be showing you guys how I created that Ariel bow. So basically I cut out a piece of fabric. The length was 9 inches, the width was probably 6 inches. And all you have to do is just cut out like a rectangle and then scrunch it up at the middle, and that's basically a bow. And so for the little strap to hold the bow in place, I'm just cutting out a 1-inch strip of fabric. And I made a mistake of cutting a long piece of fabric. All I needed was probably like 3 inches, not a lot. So that was a mistake on my part, but I later fixed it. And go ahead and make your bow, and it's pretty simple process. It's not hard at all. And just sew in the back to secure that bow in place.